recap, we have been all over the nation today. Right now, we are covering the California case. This was a disappearance of a family of 4 in 2010. The police determined at that time and issued a statement they thought perhaps the family had gone to Mexico voluntarily. That was 2013. Later in 2013, the deceased bodies were found in the desert in shallow graves. Now, fast forward, Charles Merritt was charged in 2014 with the murder of all 4 family members. 2018, here we are in the trial. Now, the witness on the stand is the victim, Joseph McStay's brother. One of the themes that runs throughout this trial, if you've been following and continue to watch the trial, is the financial benefit, financial gains, and motive that might exist in this case. So I want to bring in our special guest, a fellow host here on Law and Crime. Vincent Hill is joining us. Welcome, Vincent.
Hey, Ashley, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining. So here's what I want to ask. I know you're our law enforcement expert. Based on your experience and expertise, tell me about the fact that they're really focused, again, in this line of questioning, on the finances of the business. Does that go to murder motive, or does that go to proving that the crime was actually committed by this defendant?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, right, Ashley, because typically when you're dealing with someone that is in a business, someone that is employing this person who is now accused of murder, the prosecution investigators are going to look to see if there was a financial gain. We heard testimony on Tuesday from Susan Blake, the mother in this case, who said she was actually writing checks to the defendant in this case, Charles Merritt, to keep the business going. And she assumed the business was going, but she was getting calls that products were not being shipped out. So, of course, investigators are looking at a financial gain as a motive to this crime.
All right. So, Vincent, we're going to go back into court, but stay with us. I want to talk about what you do when a crime period lasts 18 years in terms of investigation. Right now, we're going to return to the questions being asked of the victim's brother in this case, Michael McStay. All right, we're taking a break. It's interesting to me, Michael McStay, you can hear the number of objections prosecution is making, and to me, he looks like he's getting frustrated. Let me bring you back in, Vincent Hill, fellow host here on Law and Crime. Tell me, let's talk for a minute about crime scene investigations. When you have a family of 4 missing in 2010, 2013, law enforcement says they went to Mexico. After that, in 2013, bodies are found. Now we're in 2018. How difficult does it make for law enforcement to investigate basically over an 8-year period of time?
Right. And essentially, Ashley, there is no crime scene. You heard testimony from the brother Michael where he said he was allowed to take items out of the home. Evidence could have been removed. Bodies were found 60-plus miles away. There was nothing in that home when he went in there to say there was a crime scene here. So, truthfully, the prosecution can speculate that they believe it happened in the home, but there's no physical evidence tying such a brutal crime inside that home. So it's very difficult to say, yes, we know exactly where the crime scene is. People walked in, Merritt walked in, the brother walked in, the mother walked in, she cleaned up the kitchen, she threw out trash. So it's very difficult, Ashley. And memories change over 8 years. During the break, you heard the brother say several times, I don't remember, it was so long ago. So it's really an uphill battle.
All right. So they're resuming testimony. Let's see what else he says about what he saw in the house.
You took it back because Detective Gall told you to take it back, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the time that you had the computer, whatever time that was, you weren't able to access it, is that correct?
I didn't have the proper power cord, so I couldn't even get it turned on.
Okay.
Maybe a redirect? A few things.
All right, it looks like we're going to have redirect by the prosecution if they choose to ask those questions. So I want to ask one more question. Vincent Hill, you just said something that I want to focus on, and that is they didn't have any reason to treat the home of the family, the victim family, all 4 who we now know are deceased, as a crime scene. Why not? If you have family members calling the police and saying, look, something's amiss, 4 family members, including 2 young children who are 3 and 4 years old, are gone, disappeared, and you get to the house, why would law enforcement not treat it as something's amiss, it's a crime scene, versus take your brother's computer, it's your brother's, that's fine?
Right. Well, for 2 reasons, Ashley. A, it's not against the law if your family decides to go on vacation, right? So you had 2 adults with 2 children. It'd be different if the 2 children were missing and the 2 adults were still there. They would have investigated a little bit different. And the second and most important is, if seasoned investigators were inside that home, Ashley, and they saw nothing, no blood spatter, no nothing to suggest the crime took place, then at that point, they thought they were doing exactly what they were supposed to do because they didn't think they had a crime scene. They were under the impression that maybe the family just went on vacation and they'll be back in a few days.
All right. Thanks, as always, Vincent. We're going to return now to the courtroom where the brother, Michael McStay, continues to testify now on redirect. All right, I know we're going to need to take a break, but let me ask you, Vince, just what do you think of this witness and his inability to remember some of the small details like the dates from what happened in 2010? Does that bother you or not?
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it was almost 9 years ago now, Ashley. I mean, sometimes I can't remember what I did 9 days ago, let alone 9 years ago. So it doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't make his testimony any less credible at all.
Yeah, completely agree with you. So, Vincent, I know that you need to sign off. Thank you for joining us. Happy birthday to you. I understand that's today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And for all our viewers, please come back after this short break. We're going to continue to cover the McStay family murder trial live.